So welcome back to Fly Fishing Rutland Water. Tonight I'm back on the gravel bank again, the bar. It kind of feels, I'm feeling a little bit like Bill Murray.
Then put your little hand in mine. There ain't no hill or mountain we can't climb. Babe, I got you, babe.
Because it's Groundhog Day. But the good thing about Groundhog Day is we are catching fish pretty much every time we come out here, so that is at least a bonus. I've already had one coho tonight, which was quite a nice one. I've got a release video as usual. I'm going to go out now and start fishing, and I'll just show you the technique that I was using to catch it. And it's proper fishing this time, so hopefully you'll appreciate that. Oh, I'm exhausted.
Release it?
Yeah, you release it. There you go. What do you think that is, Kevin?
Oh, that's 11.
11, I guess. Cool. 11. Nicely away. Right, so we're back in the water again. We'll do a little bit of the 90 degree and then I'm going to throw a little bit further line. One of the things I've really been enjoying is using the snap tee to get the line above me and then doing the quick spay cast to get it out. It's really efficient, really efficient. And we've had a fish. I'm not doing the move in the fly. I want the fish to take it properly rather than being kind of induced into being hooked. It's quite easy if you're just casting the head out, it just goes out quite easily. I can cast a lot longer line, but apparently for this run here you don't really have to cast that far. So I'm just going to shoot a little bit of line out just to prove that I can. You do a false cast to get the head on the surface, snap tee, round, 90 degrees. That wasn't the best cast in the world, but we'll get back into it again. Going to do an hour's worth of filming and then quit. We've got a nice picture of the coho that I caught earlier. It's like Blue Peter. Here's a fish I caught earlier. And all the fish are time stamped, so and you can see they're different, so it's not like I'm showing you the same fish over and over again, like some unscrupulous YouTubers do. That's better. It's a nice run, this. Do a bit of movement at the end to bring the fly in just a little bit. Onto the surface, snap tee, out, and then nicely out. That was good, that was perfect. That's what I wanted, a nice straight line out and then let it come round in the current. The idea of throwing it straight out is to let the head sink to get the fly down to the appropriate level. Beautiful evening. The sun's going to go down about 8 o'clock tonight, and usually we had a beautiful sunset the other night where the sun dipped behind the mountains and we got a beautiful view of the sunset and then the fading sun. We're not going to get that tonight, there's too much cloud, which is good for us, good for the fishing. So I wish the fish just need to come along now. I'd like to get another one on camera. We've got one on camera, but my positioning was terrible. This time I've actually asked Kevin to position the camera so that I'm properly in the frame and I mustn't move if I catch a fish. It's been tricky today. None of the other group caught any fish because they couldn't get onto this particular part of the water. I mean, this seems to be the only place that people are consistently catching fish, and it's because there is this deep run or channel that the fish seem to be following, and if you can get your fly in front of them, you've got a chance. In a river this big, you have to find the natural channels that the fish are going to run in. If the wind stays down, I may actually show you me shooting more of a head out. Because this is the new Sage X rod, which is fabulous. I'll take a little bit out. Let's have a wee bit. Not gone mad because there is quite a strong upstream wind, which is kind of playing havoc with things. So if we go down, snap tee, out, the rounds, and then out. And all the line is shooting. That's a cracking line to be shooting. Now that's getting me out into the deeper water. Apparently the big fish are in the deeper water. well, most of the fish are running in the main channel, but if you want the bigger fish, they can handle the deeper water apparently. I had a couple of fish that have come up and snapped at the fly on the surface. I'm using this coho spay fly again, which I really like. It's kind of purple and black. It's caught a fish already tonight, but it's caught fish a couple of days ago as well. I had a day off yesterday. I just decided that I needed to give my arm a little bit of a rest. And it paid off a little bit. We've just got to catch some fish. David's had 2, I've had 1 and lost 1, so we know there's fish in the system and they're around here, and it's the steelhead and coho, which for me are the 2 species. I don't have a steelhead yet. Other members of the group have got them. I was talking earlier about Groundhog Day, how we're kind of waking up and fishing the same spot and the same spot and the same spot.
Rise and shine, and don't forget your booties, 'cause it's cold out there.
It's cold out there every day. What is this, Miami Beach? I don't think so.
Hardly.
Nice going, boys. You're playing yesterday's tape.
Every now and again you get a chance to go somewhere different, and David got a chance to go to what we've now called Jurassic Park. It's a river that they don't normally go to. David shared with me the video. I really wished I'd taken the opportunity to go there, but there was only room for 2 people, so David and Jonathan were the first 2 to kind of put their hands up, and I think they were incredibly lucky to go there, see it and catch fish as well. I have to say, now that I'm doing spay casting with a double-handed rod, I kind of want to do this all the time. I really enjoy this. It kind of feels a bit like an art form. There's a real kind of poetry. I think I said the word bally before, but with this Sage X rod, it is absolutely brilliant. It's one of the, I'm actually glad, I think I said this earlier, that I didn't bring a rod out with me and actually bought one out here, because the guides will help you find a rod that's perfectly balanced. Now, I never actually got a chance to use this rod before I bought it, but the guides made sure that it was fitted with the right line, the right back end, pretty much everything to make sure this rod and this kit was ready to go. And I have to say, it is an absolute joy to cast. I could be happy not catching fish all night with this particular rod, and that might be what's happened. But I have caught a fish with Excalibur, as this rod is now affectionately known. I'm going to have to go back and do some more of the spay fishing. I don't know where I'm going to go, when or where or how, but I'm definitely going to do more of this. The UK is a bit of a washout. It's really hard to find a river where you can use a 12-foot 8-weight rod, because it's probably a smaller river rather than one of the larger ones. The other thing that is hard is to find a river that's actually got any fish in it. I mean, the runs of fish through here are phenomenal. You come here, it's a long way to come, but you know there's fish in the system. Even when it's low like this, there's a lot of fish in the system. I hate to think what it would be like when these rivers are full and the fish are really running in anger. Couldn't really cast any better than that. Coming a little bit, the advice from the guide is if you're not getting anything, move a few feet back. It might just bring you into the zone where the fish are lying. They seem to be in very distinct places. So when you cast the long line, you're covering the main water in the channel, but you want that line to come into a specific spot, into the side where the fish are, maybe they're running. They seem to come in closer to the bank for some reason. I mean, it's beautiful tonight. It's dark, it's overcast, it's everything you would wish for an evening fishing session. I'm going to bring the line in and just try a few short ones. Just you know, some days you don't have to cast far. I'm casting far because I've got a beautiful new rod and I want to use it. But actually, if you look at the channel I'm fishing in, it's actually only about one shooting head's width across the river. So if I actually dial back on the amount of line, I actually get more casts in, which means if there's fish coming through the system, I have twice as much more chance of catching the bottom. Oh no, catching a leaf in this case. That spot at the bottom seems to be doing better. David, that's the third fish David's had there. I've had two in this spot. So I think further down there must be for some reason that's a better holding spot to get. Oh, that's not nice. Get the line on the surface. That's a strong wind. Bring it around, snap T and out. Snap T just helps you set the anchor, so when you cast forward you get a nice D-loop. One thing I feel about Canada is it really could do with a few more trees. I don't think I've ever seen so many trees in my life. We were just looking out behind the lodge and there's this incredibly steep mountain behind us and it's covered in trees. Even the most precipitous slopes are covered in pine trees. They must be able to root. They must be able to take root in just the slightest bit of soil. I had a problem with my reel. I lost a few fish the other day because this reel was jamming. And it turns out the sage reels are a little bit susceptible to getting grit in the mechanism. And that's what happened. Took it back to the shop. We were trying to figure out what the hell had gone wrong because it literally jammed as I was playing fish, and I lost about 4 fish because the line, I just couldn't reel the line in because the reel was jamming. Then late at night I took the spool off and it magically worked. I think the piece of grit or whatever was in that reel that was messing it up suddenly was released and everything became hunky-dory again. Oh, we're in. Oh! God damn it. Oh, that was annoying. They don't always hang on, unfortunately, but that was a take. That was definitely a take. Get that line out. Fish might still be there, it might have another go, but I think it's more likely to be fish that are running through, so by the time that fly comes around for a second time, that fish will be long gone. It'll be somewhere up here by now. There was a slight tug there actually. I wonder if the fish are maybe slightly closer into the bank. Maybe worthwhile just moving in just a little bit. Apparently just moving a step can make all the difference, so let's just try it. You can actually look at the river and see where there's possibly boulders lying just from the way the flow of the river, because the boulder usually shows. The wave takes a little while to form, so when you see the wave, the boulder is generally in front of it. No, that's the boulder. That's the boulder. I think that's the snag we've been getting quite a lot, unfortunately. Right, mark my position between the camera and that chap over there. Please don't move. That's it. It's out. That's good. Now when that's happening, just throw it a little bit more line, and that means you should be beneath the snag. So now I've hit that snag, I'm going to go down below the boulder because I've let a little bit more running line out. Onto the surface, Snap teeth, round and shoot. And now it's not snagging because I'm below the boulder. So there's a little technique. If there's a boulder, let a little bit of line out and you'll miss the boulder. If you don't let a little bit of line out, you'll end up being around the boulder and potentially losing your fly, your leader, and having to lose valuable fishing time. I would like to get another one in camera for you. That looks fishy. That looks like there's a slightly deeper channel to the right of that shingle bank there that you would expect the fish to be coming up. So in my mind, I'm in the right spot. I can probably move down a little bit and still be on camera. I'm probably a way better spey caster than I am a single-handed caster, like double-handed. I think the spey casting is just it's really quite rhythmic. The rod does all the work for you, really, if you just master the movements. And that was probably the crappiest cast of the night. Look, there's the boat coming back. I wonder if that's our party appearing. They may be bringing Mark and Jonathan up here where there's more chance of fish. We've obviously had a couple, so I'm quite happy to do less fishing now to give those guys a chance, because there are only 3 spots. Really, between where David is now and where I am is really the spot that you'll catch fish. You can catch them further up, but it's a lot harder. There you go, it's the Hobo Co Spayfly or whatever it's called. It's nice though. Seems to be you can have every colour as long as it's purple and pink here. That's certainly got a bit more life in it, or colour in it, so I don't know if it'll make any difference to the fish, but we can give it a go. This is what I kind of wish we were fishing larger rivers. I wish I was fishing rivers where I really was having to throw a longer line to cover the water and to do different types of mends. Oh, I think that might have been a rock, I'm not sure. It's in the place where that rock is, so I suspect that was more rock than fish. But there's not a fish a chuck at the moment. That bottom spot seems to be doing better than any other. We've been finding that each spot comes on at different times, so that one day that one's the best, one day this one's the best, another day where Mark is the best. So you kind of just have to keep moving around to find out which one suits your style of fishing on a particular day. These 8-hour sessions I find are a bit long for me. You know me in Rutland Water, I tend to fish for about 4 hours. I think I'd prefer if there was a morning session of 4 hours, then an afternoon or evening session of 4 hours. It would stop me getting my attention deficit syndrome manifesting itself. I must admit, it's like Rutland though. While other people are obsessed by getting the biggest numbers of fish, it's never bothered me if I come out and get one fish. I'm a happy man. And I've had a nice co-host, so I'm happy. You can go salmon fishing in Scotland for a whole week and not see one salmon. Here we're effectively going out and catching 2 or 3 a day. But if you're not catching them, you're hooking them, which is just nearly as good. Now this is probably going to be the last video I shoot because you're going to get bored seeing the same spot over and over again. So hopefully sometime in the future I shall return. I don't know why people go for the really heavy rods. I think they can't help with the mending of the lines and stuff like that, but from a casting standpoint, some of the lighter rods these days are, you can get just as much distance. I think as if you get hooked into a 30-pound chum, I think you may have some problems. So without further ado, if you've liked this video, please make sure you hit the like button, and I would be delighted if you would subscribe to the channel to see more of my fishy adventures. Thanks for watching.